Side Hustle Show 286, How to Become a Loan Signing Agent and Earn $100 an Hour Part-Time. What's up? Nick Loper here. Welcome to the Side Hustle Show, because a year from now, you're going to wish you started today. So last year, I published episode 215 of the Side Hustle Show, which you might remember focused on how Mark Wills and Roman Rosario built their online business, loansigningsystem.com, teaching people how to become loan signing agents and how they started with basically zero audience and built that up. So after the episode aired, a funny thing happened. I was accused, and probably rightfully so, of burying the lead. Several listeners reached out and said, okay, all this online business stuff is great, but this loan signing thing sounds pretty cool too. We want to learn more about that. Now, a little bit of background. If you bought a house, you're probably familiar with what a loan signing agent is. They're the person that walks you through the giant stack of forms and contracts you've got to sign when you close on your loan. They are Notary Publics. It's a certification that takes a few hours, and sometimes you have to take a test or pay a small fee to the state to get that certification. But for each appointment, the loan signing agent is making $75 to $200, and the appointments only take an hour, hour and a half. It's not a bad side hustle, right? So since that episode aired, a few listeners have sent me testimonials about starting the loan signing side hustle, and Mark has been really good about sending me testimonials of people who heard about it on the show too. One of those listeners was Brian Schooley, who kind of read between the lines of episode 215 and took action. Brian is a father of 5 in Southern California who is now earning $1,500 to $2,000 a month on the side from his full-time job, which is actually in tire sales, completely unrelated. So in this episode, Brian and Mark Wills, who's the co-founder of Loan Signing System, Mark's actually been doing signings himself for 15 years. They both joined me to give an overview of what this side hustle is really like, what it takes to get started, and what Brian's done and what he's doing to get more signings. Notes and links for this one, along with a summary of the call, are at sidehustlenation.com/loans. As you're about to hear, Brian wasn't afraid to take action, and he made a couple important investments in his side hustle education. And that's actually where our sponsor Skillshare.com comes in. Skillshare is the online learning community with over 20,000 classes in marketing, business, social media, and tons more. Basically, any skill you need to get your side hustle off the ground or take it to the next level. These are practical, on-demand classes taught by industry experts and insiders. And Skillshare is hooking Side Hustle Show listeners up with 2 months of unlimited access for just 99 cents. Hit up Skillshare.com/sidehustle to claim that deal. Again, check it out at Skillshare.com/sidehustle. I also want to thank TextExpander.com for sponsoring this episode. TextExpander helps you communicate smarter and faster and is basically going to make you feel like a productivity ninja. How it works is you create your own keyboard shortcuts or snippets for things that you type or copy and paste all the time. Like I use it for email addresses, URLs, proposals, directions, answers to FAQs, signatures. I've got dozens of these things set up, even color code, like hex codes on the website. It basically saves me a ton of time. It works on Windows, Mac, iOS, and you can even share snippets with other people on your team to power up their productivity too. I think you're going to love it. Visit textexpander.com/podcast for 20% off your first year. That's textexpander.com/podcast to start working smarter today. I'll be back with my top takeaways from this chat with Brian and Mark after the interview. Brian's going to be the first voice you hear talking about his work situation and what was motivating him to pursue this side hustle. Ready? Let's do it.
Definitely not real estate related at all. I've been doing that for years. Enjoy it. It's a good job, but just came up to a spot where I needed to make some extra money. So just took like a normal extra job on the weekends, and I was working basically 7 days a week, and it was killing myself. So I started also at that same time listening to your podcast, and I was like, I got to do something better than this because working the hourly clock is terrible for the family. So yeah, I heard about Mark Wills' interview, and it just seemed like something that made sense. Actually, the connection, I guess, is that my wife just started as a loan officer. And so I called her after I listened to the episode and I was like, is this a real thing? Is there
legit?
Yeah, I was like, is there a notary dude who goes and signs papers? And she's like, yeah. And I was like, And then it just kind of all sunk in. So I was like, initially, I thought my connection would be through her, and I could do her signings and make money. But over time, I learned that you can't do one if you're connected to the loan officer. So
Oh, interesting. That's like a conflict of interest.
Yes, absolutely. So it got me thinking, and I was like, one weekend I worked 8 hours on Saturday and Sunday, and minimum wage. And I was just like, dude, I could make this much money in one signing. So went on Mark's website, just bought the course and just went at it. And it's been awesome.
Did you have a notary license at that time, or was that kind of like something else you had to go through and study for and get?
Yeah, I did not. So there was really zero connection, but I looked that up online. I took a course. I cannot remember how many. It's just like a standard California school that you have to go through. It's online. I did that.
Mark, is every state regulating the notary part of it?
Yeah, great question, man. So every state is one who issues a notary commission. Now, the best part about being a notary is there's only 6 states in our country that actually require a test. The majority of states, about 43 of our states, it's literally nothing more than an application like you're applying for a credit card. So getting your notary license is the easiest part. In California, it's 30 questions. You can miss like 9 of them. So I call it more of a quiz. So really, really easy to get your notary license. And each state is responsible for giving out the notary license. You can do it yourself. And then once you get the notary license, I do the rest.
Okay. And then ballpark application fee for that?
Yeah, California, once again, California's the most expensive state. We all know this for everything.
Sure.
In California, it's about $60 to become a notary public. And once again, the majority of states are actually just a simple application. So California is the most expensive state, and that's $69, I believe, out the door to get your notary commission. 90% of the states, it's nothing more than an application. You print it off the internet, you mail it in. It's that simple.
Okay. So Brian, you took the notary application, you took the course on how to pass the notary application, then you took Mark's course on how to become the loan signing agent, how to do the loan signings. Do you have any other startup costs or training investments?
There's a couple of things you got to buy, just like insurance. You need to have like an errors and omissions insurance to cover any issues in the future. But it was really little. I feel like that course was like $40 to take the school. And then like Mark said, $60 to get your notary license. And then maybe another $100 for the insurances. And I was ready to go.
Okay.
Yeah, what's amazing about this side hustle is that the startup costs are extremely low. Your only real cost, notary commission, your errors and omission insurance, which he said is less than $100 a year. You break that down, it's like $15 a month, $20 a month. You're basically off to the races. I mean, because the other ancillary cost would be a printer. So, I mean, at the end of the day, you can start a business that makes you $100 for an appointment that really takes more than an hour for maybe $500 to $600 out of your pocket. And like I said, it's super duper cheap. And I think Brian can obviously attest to that as well.
Right. And that was one thing too, that I had listened to the podcast before, and there was other side hustles, but this one seemed like, man, I can get into this for really cheap. And if I can just make my money back, I'm awesome. And I made my money back so fast. And then from there, it was awesome.
Yeah. Mark, have you seen anybody if you have a real estate background, if you understand what these documents are, do you need to go through a training course, or would you just roll up and say, hey, I'm a loan signing agent now, and I'll walk you through these documents?
If I could be completely upfront with you and your listeners, it's something you could learn on your own. You don't necessarily need a course per se, but the best analogy I always give is, you can teach yourself how to play basketball. You pick up a basketball, go down the court. But if you have a coach, you have a mentor, you have a trainer, obviously you're going to bypass the mistakes most people make learning something on their own. So could you absolutely learn how to do something on your own? This being a signing agent, sure. But the beautiful thing about my course and what Brian, who had no experience, it's really about putting your energy and honing it in the right way and you do this A, B, and C, you're going to get this result. So absolutely, if you have a real estate experience background, of course, it might be a little bit easier. But even if you have a real estate agent background, you really have to learn how to walk a borrower through a set of loan documents, which is super easy. It's just kind of learning where they need to sign, date, and initial. So, while you might have real estate background, it might make learning the terminology a little bit easier, but there's still a little bit of training that you want into like where they need to sign on the loan paperwork, kind of what are the frequently asked questions. So it might make it a little bit easier, but like I said, Brian is in tires. And so you can pick up regardless what industry you're in because it's super duper easy.
And it sounds like from Brian, so your wife is kind of in the loan, you say a loan agent?
Yeah, loan officer.
Mm-hmm. A loan officer, okay. And so are they just pulling from a database of registered certified, like I guess not even certified, but just like registered signing agents to go and complete this part of the home buying process?
Yeah, well, some of it can be that. Sometimes they have their own notary that they've worked with for years. So they'll just call that person directly and contract with them. But The other way that it's done is through signing services, which is what Mark teaches through the course. He teaches you how to do it, and he also teaches you how to sign up for these signing services. So basically a loan officer or an escrow officer or even a real estate agent, when they need a notary, a loan signing agent, they'll go into a signing service. They search it by area and they just send out a text message. So that's how, once I was done with the course and everything, that's what would happen is I would just get a text message and it would say, hey, there's a signing tonight, 8:00 in Redlands, California. Do you want it? And I'm just like, yes. You make anywhere from 75 to $150 and it's just awesome.
Was that your first gig?
You know what? My first one was a signing, but it was, what do you call it? Like a loan application. So it wasn't a full set of loan docs, but it was like a half set of loan docs. And so it was like $50. And I was like, absolutely. I was just waiting, for that first text. I went out there, and the awesome thing is this: Mark walks you through all the documents in his course. So you're familiar with them. When I got there, I was super nervous, but I opened up that package and I was just like, I know this. I got this. And and it was super easy. Walk the borrowers through, sign here, sign there, initial stamp, the whole thing. And yeah, it paid, I think, $50 or $65, and I was out of there in an hour.
You weren't nervous? There wasn't anything questions that came up? You're like, oh crap, I don't know the answer to that.
Well, I was nervous, but as I went through it, I was familiar with him because Mark actually in his course, he shows you the docs,
Sure,
and this is where they need to sign. This is what this is. You're going to see this, in all of these. And so that's the beauty of his course is he really teaches you all about it. He teaches you how to do it. And so when you're there, you're not a novice, even your first time.
How does the payment process work? As I imagine the client isn't handing you cash on site.
Just to answer that question, and for some of the listeners, because how this works is we reference something called a signing service. So a signing service is what mortgage professionals use to find signing agents. So I kind of call it like an Uber, where Uber, connects a rider and connects someone who's driving a car. So the signing service will connect a mortgage professional with a signing agent. And so, just like you put your address in the Uber app, a notary puts their name in the database, and then a mortgage professional will just put in a zip code, and then all the signing agents in that zip code pop up. And like Brian said, the closest one to that location gets the appointment. So it's literally, you'll be at home and all of a sudden you get a text message. We have an appointment that is 0.8 miles from your house. It pays $100. Do you want the appointment? So the signing service it's such an automated system. It's so beautiful. And that's why it's, I always tell people it's the best side hustle no one's ever heard of, because you can literally be at your house, get a text, and then you're making $100 45 minutes later. So the signing service who hires you is also who pays you. So money never exchanges hands from the signing agent and the borrower. It's all handled by the third party, just like Uber handles the payment to the Uber driver, and the rider never gives money to the Uber driver. It all happens electronically. The exact same thing happens for signing agent. The signing service finds you electronically. They pay you electronically. You set up direct deposit with the signing service and you have $50 in your bank account or whatever you contract it for. So the industry is really set up for side hustle people because it's literally around your schedule and it's all automated, direct deposit. You go here are the docs, print the docs, and you're out the house in 10 minutes. So I didn't invent the industry. I'm just part of it. And it's really an efficient, amazing industry, just like Uber kind of has done that for the taxi cab industry. Signing services have made it extremely efficient, extremely easy. You just got to put your name in these databases once you have the training and you're good to go. So it's really streamlined. It's the most amazing side hustle no one's ever heard of. And I'm excited that people like Brian making a ton of money doing it.
So am I remembering correctly, Mark, that your main business was the signing service and then started the whole loan signing system on the side from that?
Yes, great question. Yeah, so the reason I'm quote unquote an expert in the field is because I own one of those signing services, and that's why I'm so well versed in how it works. So, when I realized that a couple years ago that I could help people make money by teaching them how to do this because it's such a niche field that no one's ever heard of. And I'm like, it no longer needs to be niche. Being that I owned a signing service, that's why I'm such a good teacher in it, because I've owned it. And I still own it, actually. It's now become passive income for me. And, teaching people like Brian's now my passion, and getting as many people to make money in this industry is now my goal. And it's just amazing seeing Brian, who has 5 children, works full time, does this on nights and weekends. And it's as easy as answering a text message.
Yep.
It's crazy to see how far you've come with this, just like in the 1.5 years since we first recorded. I think we're only 12 months into the original business. It's just like it's blowing up, and excited to have maybe had a small part in that, and Brian to see what you've done with it too. Brian, maybe walk me through, is there such thing as a typical week in the life? Can you give me a sense of what volume of work you're doing?
Yeah, it's starting to get more consistent. It took a while. It's like a slow start. Once they start seeing that you do good work, some of the signing services, they'll continue to use you over and over again. Typically, I'm working, doing my other job, 7:30 in the morning until 4:30 in the afternoon. During the day, I'll get multiple texts. Do you want this job this afternoon? Do you want this job right now? During the day, I just reply, no, I can't do the job. If it's at night, heck yeah, I take it. I'll either run home, print docs.
Tell them about your big goal you hit this month so far for the first time.
Yeah. So my goal this year was to make at least $2,000 a month. And just last night, I texted Mark real late at night and told him I got to my goal already. So I made that goal in January, make an extra $2,000 a month, and I'm here. So I got to make a new goal.
Wow, that's awesome. That would be like 15 signings. Give me an estimate of like how many appointments that was.
Oh man, it's random, because some of them pay a lot. I've actually got some direct business, so those ones pay a little bit more, but I'm probably doing, at least 15 a month. And, that's still not that much. I could put in more. Not that I could put in more, but there's still more room for me to grow, as a side job. So,
okay.
And then Nick, and for your listeners, why this is an amazing side hustle, like literally a side hustle is, borrowers have jobs, right? So banks don't lend to people who don't have work. And most people work, 8 to 5, just like, Brian works 7 to 4. So if borrowers who are borrowing money work during the day, when are they most likely available to sign loan documents?
Right.
Evenings and weekends. So why this is truly a great side hustle is because most appointments are evenings, weekend. Most borrowers don't take PTO to go sign loan docs, right? So they tell the escrow company or the signing service like, hey, I get off at 5, have a signing agent at my house at 6. Bada bing,
Yep.
Brian gets a text message or a signing agent like Brian, and then Brian shows up at 6 o'clock. So, the reason this is a phenomenal side hustle and also a full-time business, but for Side Hustle Nation, it's you don't need to quit your day job because most people have day jobs. So the appointments are night times and the appointments are weekends. Like Brian is probably when you're available. And like Brian did, he did $2,000 nights and weekends.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. And it doesn't hurt your rating or your standing within the signing service to say, no, I can't take that one. I'm at work, for the ones that come in during the day.
Right. No, it doesn't. As long as you respond something to them, basically, because they don't know what you're doing. You know what I mean? So you could have other appointments already set up. You're just responding, I'm not available. What I always do is I say, I'm not available at 2 o'clock, but I am available at 6 o'clock. So if it's a possibility, they can change the time with the borrowers. They will. It doesn't happen a lot, but that's just that's my limitations being that I already work full time. So I try to direct it to a time when I can do it. And if not, then I miss it. So.
What's been your wife's reaction to all this stuff? Like, oh, I got to go to this appointment. It sounds like it's relatively last minute. Like, oh, I might be home tonight. I might not.
Yeah, some of them are. It does happen a lot. Generally, I feel like you'll get them about 1 or 2 in the afternoon, and it might be like, we need somebody at 7 o'clock. So that's just where we're at right now. She's super excited about it because, I was gone 7 days a week and I was just making a certain amount of money. It wasn't great. And then I'm like, look, if I go do this appointment, this is like me working 16 hours this weekend.
Sure.
So it's like, yeah, it's huge. She loves it so much that she's actually just became a notary. And, I'm training her on all this stuff and she's going to be, we can't leave the money out on the table. Let's just put it that way,
The wife sees how much money Brian's making and realizes it's as easy as answering a text.
Right.
I was waiting for Brian to tell you how his wife's like, I want in on the action. Just to really let people know how easy the side hustle is. Mortgages need signing agents. Look how many mortgages happen every single day. We always see advertisements for mortgages or real estate sales. And all those need signing agents. And there's just money out there that people haven't heard of. And the next time you see an open house down the street from your house, or next time you see a mortgage ad, what should be going through your mind is there's some signing agent attached to that mortgage who's going to make $100 for staring at someone signing a stack of paper. And his wife is like, this is too easy. I'm getting in.
Right.
Brian, any sort of, weird stuff that's happened? Client horror stories? I don't know, like anything out of the ordinary?
Nothing too bad. I did have a signing one time on a Saturday that was way out in the middle of the desert. And I got there and it was like, every creepy movie was made from this scene, I was so far out in the middle of nowhere down this dirt road. And I walk up to this place in the middle of nowhere and the guy goes, we can't go in the house. We're going to do the signing in my motorhome. And it was this creepy old motorhome. And I'm like, this dude, yeah, he's going to kill me for sure. But no, it was cool. It was cool.
No, thanks.
Yeah, I was just like, wow. But no, it's been great. There's always something interesting about it. And you get to meet a lot of nice people, and people sign papers and they just bought a house, it's a fun thing to do.
Yeah, it's an exciting time in people's lives, hopefully. At this point, Mark jumped in and said actually the majority of signing agents are female, and every person who gets approved for a loan has been verified through, pretty extensive underwriting process. They've had to have consistent employment, they've got good credit, they've got money in the bank for reserves. So, of course, when you're dealing with the public, whether it's loan signing, whether it's driving for Lyft, or even, waiting tables, there's always that chance, however small, for an uncomfortable or interesting encounter. Aside from the loan signing services, anything else you can do to market yourself or kind of like grow this business, or just kind of at the whim, like you're an Uber driver and like, well, if the text comes in, if the notification comes in, then it's go time? Or is like, what else can you do to grow this thing?
There's two ways of getting business. The main way is through signing service, where it's literally a text message. The second way is, going directly to real estate agents or mortgage officers. And here's what I tell people, prospective students and my students, because I teach people how to get signings from every single avenue. But the best way to get business is every single one of us, like literally every single one of us knows a real estate agent. I mean, if you don't own a home, your mom, dad, uncle, sister, brother's best friend at work owns a home. And every one of those friends or yourself owns a home, they know a real estate agent, right? Like you have a home, I believe, right? Last time we talked, Nick.
I'm renting right now, but I do remember doing this loan signing, and we did it in the evening because it was after work.
So you have a mortgage officer friend, right? So there's a signing. So it's as easy as just talking to people you already know. So it is as easy as just saying, hey, my best friend from high school is a real estate agent. Hey, best friend from high school, I'm a signing agent. Can I sign your next set of loan documents? Okay. You can get signings from people you know. And the best part about us is everybody, because so many people are involved in real estate, it's literally as easy as like, okay, who do I know that's in real estate? And then who's a real estate agent and who's a mortgage officer? And Brian knows someone who's in the title business, which is another aspect of real estate. I don't want to get too granular and bore people, but you know someone in the title business, which is attached to the real estate business. And this person is a funnel to more signings. So signings are literally all around us, is what I tell prospective students is just think to yourself, do you know a mortgage officer? Of course you do. Do you know a real estate agent? Of course you do. So you can give it through signing services or directly through mortgage professionals.
Now, are you worried? I mean, you're not, Mark, but Brian, are you worried about like market saturation on this thing? Like if you teach too many people how to get into this, then, there's a fixed number of real estate transactions going on in any one town, right? And it's like, if there are 50 loan signing agents, hey, that's great. If there are 200 loan signing agents, then all of a sudden that work is divided out like in a much narrower way. Does that make sense?
Yeah, Brian, if you don't mind me, I'll take this one because I get that question often, Nick, actually, from students. Is like, is it saturated? Here's the best part about our business is we work around the borrower's availability, not ours. So Brian says, he'll get a text at 1 saying, are you available at 7? So no matter how good of a signing agent, no matter how many signing agents there are, we are at the whim of when the borrower signs. So let's say you live in a city, I'm in San Diego. How many 7:30 appointments do you think can happen in San Diego any one given night? 100. So they have to hire 100 separate signing agents. Now, some of those signing agents could have a 6:30 p.m., which makes it impossible to go to 7. Or some of those signing agents might have an 8 o'clock signing already, which makes it impossible to do a 7. So the cool part about a business is there's truly business for everybody because the borrower schedule is what dictates the time. And you kind of mentioned earlier in this conversation is like, it's kind of last minute. And sometimes it is. It's like, it's 4 o'clock. And it's like, hey, I have a borrower who just called me back saying they're available at 6. Are you available at 6? And so the fact that it is around the borrower schedule, not ours, literally makes the work plentiful because we can't all be at the same place at the same time. We all can't drive to the same location at the same time. And so that's why having 200 isn't really an issue because they just kind of go down the list. So for instance, when Brian says, no, I can't do it, the next signing agent gets a text. That signing agent says, no, I can't do it. The next one gets a text. Oh, I can't do it. The next one gets a text. And so this idea of like too many signing agents really doesn't exist because we're always on the whim of certain schedules. And that's the truth answer.
Brian, with the volume of requests that you see coming in on your phone, do you see this something that could be a full-time thing?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. I was just looking. I started creating a note this month in my phone on all the appointments I couldn't take. Really just to almost actually to encourage other people. Mark has a Facebook group and there's a bunch of us in there and we all talk just like there's that much business out there, and I was just wanting to see what I was, missing out on. I don't know. About halfway through the month, I gave up because it was depressing, but, but definitely absolutely can be a full-time job. It could, I'm trying to figure out if one day this can be, actually, I'm trying to figure out how I can make a transition. That's a hard thing to do, probably from any job to any job, but the work is there. I'm making relationships with a lot of different people right now at escrow companies and different things. And just with the constant workflow that is coming in also through the signing services, it could totally be better than my current job. Yeah.
So aside from the occasional creepy dude in the desert, any other downsides, drawbacks to it?
No, definitely not. No, I mean, for me personally, sometimes, I'll work all day long and then I'll have a signing right after work. And there's been a couple of times where I've had 2 signings in the evening, which is amazing. But it can wear you out because it's a lot of hours and it's a long day. But other than that, I mean, it's like Mark says, I don't know what other job you could for an hour make $100. I don't know where that's at other than this. It's amazing.
If I had to be honest with you, Nick, the best part about this business could also be a drawback. And I don't know if Brian wants to kind of talk on this point for me. I mean, we're on the hours availability, so we're kind of on call. So I think that's what makes our business special is that, you can get a text at 5 to have an appointment at 7, but that could also be kind of a doozy. You know what I mean? So you have, oh my gosh, I already have plans, or okay, my wife's expecting me home for dinner, or I got a birthday party. So if I had to be completely honest, I mean, one of the drawbacks, quote unquote, is the fact that we're kind of on an on-call business, but it's as easy as saying, no, I can't do it. But we're trying to be super transparent. One of the drawbacks is like, you can get a text message at 4:00 and be on your way to an appointment by 6, and you just had, your child has soccer practice or something. So the same thing that makes it amazing, that the fact that it is on call, and that's why there's business for everybody, but could be also the other side of it. But that could also be, I don't know what your 2 cents on that is, Brian, but to me, I actually like to look at the glass half full and think that's the amazing part of the business. But, for doing as long as I have, it definitely is like, oh my gosh, okay, well, I can't do this tonight.
Mark, do you work with anybody outside of, major metro areas? I mean, people buy houses everywhere, but I'm curious about that part of the equation. I mean, you mentioned you're in San Diego, Brian, you're in Southern California too. Obviously lots of real estate transactions going on, but either like, in smaller areas or even international. Curious if you have any international customers.
This is an America thing from a standpoint of Notary Public. So no international. I mean, I do have students who, I'm thinking one off the top of my head, Fabiola, she is a Mexican-American, came over from Mexico, speaks Spanish, and just does amazing in San Diego. So, but I mean, as far as this being this is a very primarily American thing, but as far as the students that we have, it's eclectic all over the country. I mean, Brian, we're actually holding a conference, Nick. That's how big this course has gotten. And so, yeah, we have a national conference coming up in May 19th and 20th. And we have people flying in from 26 different states.
This is crazy.
I mean, it's the best kept secret in the real estate industry. I literally say that on every chance I can get. And for something that could be taught, and something can be done as a true side hustle, and that's why I love your podcast. I mean, this is truly a side hustle. Brian has been for a year, and he's making $2,000 like clockwork, $1,500 to $2,000, what I should say, not to exaggerate, $1,500 to $2,000 like clockwork every single month as a true side hustle. I mean, not to talk down about other side hustles. I just think it's the best.
Of course.
I agree.
No, very, very cool, guys. Appreciate you coming on and sharing that stuff. So loansigningsystem.com is where we can learn more about Mark's business, Mark's course. If you go through sidehustlenation.com/LSS, that is an affiliate link of mine. And again, it's all those testimonials that I've gotten over the course since we published episode 215 with Mark and Roman that make me comfortable signing off on that as an affiliate. He's also set up a promo code for Side Hustle Nation. If you use promo code Side Hustle, that'll get you 10% off if you want to. If you're thinking this is the side hustle for you, I encourage you to check it out. Let's wrap this thing up with your guys' number 1 tip for Side Hustle Nation. How about Mark? You go first.
Yeah, so my biggest tip, and I tell this to my students as well, is the only difference between unsuccessful people and successful people is effort. That is it. You put an effort, you do something every single day that's going to move your life forward. You do something every single day that's going to build your business. If you're consistent and you have effort, there is nothing that's not possible. And if you're a signing agent, there is no way you can't make money in this industry. So effort and consistency is what I preach to all of my students.
Sounds good, Brian. What have you got?
Absolutely. Oh, so mine, actually, I don't know if this is a legitimate Mark Wills quote, but he's the one who I heard say it. And I loved it when I heard it. He said, fortune is in the follow-up. For me, that's just made so much sense. I make connections, and I get a job here and there. But if I follow up, that's how you grow your business. And I'm not sure if that's Mark's direct quote or if he got that from somebody else, but fortune is in the follow-up in whatever you do.
Absolutely. That makes a lot of sense. So you're not just relying 100% on the gigs to come to you. You're being proactive and making relationships and treating it like a real business.
Absolutely. Yeah.
That's right.
Very cool, guys. Thanks so much for joining me. We'll catch up with you soon. There you go. Skills to pay the bills on the Side Hustle Show. Actually, one of the most frustrating emails I get is I'll call it the I don't have any skills email. And at certain points in my life, I've felt the same way. But here's the thing, even though I really doubt you don't have any skills, you have the ability, and if you're listening to this, probably the drive to learn new ones. And that's where today's sponsor, Skillshare.com, comes in. On Skillshare, you can learn everything from video editing to social media marketing to copywriting and Facebook ads. There are more than 20,000 classes taught by practicing experts. The on-demand learning platform is perfect for professionals who want to advance their career and for side hustlers who want to expand the skills you need to grow your business. How it works is you get unlimited access to all these classes for a low monthly price. You never have to pay per class again. So let's skip the Netflix tonight and go do some learning. Check out the extensive catalog for yourself at Skillshare.com/sidehustle. While you're there, you notice that Skillshare has put together a special offer for Side Hustle Show listeners where you can try Skillshare for 2 months for just 99 cents. I think you're going to love it. Go to Skillshare.com/sidehustle to get started today. That's Skillshare.com/sidehustle for 2 months of unlimited access for just 99 cents. All right, my top takeaways from this call with Brian and Mark. Number 1 is to know your stuff. Buying a house is a big financial decision, and these homeowners are trusting you to walk them through what they're signing and to answer any questions. It's not rocket science, but it may not be common knowledge either. So I think it makes sense to study up before heading out into the field. Although worst case scenario, I imagine you could always just say, look, I'm not sure, I don't know about that, but I'm going to find out right away and get back to you. But takeaway number 1, know your stuff. Takeaway number 2, treat it like a business. I was really impressed with Brian's appointment scheduling, working around his job. Like when he said, oh, sorry, I can't make 4 p.m., but I can make 6. It wasn't just, my gut would have been to say, nah, sorry, I can't make that one. So I also admired Brian's follow-up and his focus on building relationships with the, quote unquote suppliers in this business, the loan officers, the real estate agents, the title agents. I thought that was a really cool way to be more proactive than just sitting back on the signing system roster and waiting for the gigs to come in. So treat it like a business. And takeaway number 3 is to be professional. I imagine it wouldn't take long for word to get back to the loan officers, the real estate agents, if you were showing up late, if you were rude, if you didn't know what you're talking about, if you dressed sloppily, etc. You're entering people's homes and offices, so there's a certain expectation of your appearance and attitude. And even though the folks signing the papers didn't have much of a say in hiring you, I think if you can be professional in your relationships with the suppliers Brian mentioned, you're going to be in good shape to get repeat bookings. SideHustleNation.com/loans is where you'll find all the notes and links from this episode, along with a summary of everything we talked about. If you think loan signing could be a good side hustle for you, check out Mark's stuff at loansigningsystem.com. And if you're ready to join his course, of course, use the promo code SIDEHUSTLE, all one word, at SideHustleNation.com/LSS. That's LSS for Loan Signing System. That'll save you 10%. That's it for me. Thank you so much for tuning in. Until next time, let's go out there and make something happen. And I'll catch you in the next edition of The Side Hustle Show, where you'll meet a guy who quit his 6-figure job just 10 months after starting his side hustle. It's a case study in audience building, and it's on a trending topic area that's got a lot of people excited, myself included. I'll see you then. Hustle on.
Thanks for listening to The Side Hustle Show at www.sidehustlenation.com.